You ever meet someone who makes you believe in fairy tales? I did. His name was Daniel Hartwell, charming, ambitious, with eyes that promised forever and hands that knew exactly how to hold me when the world felt heavy. We met at a coffee shop. I was a barista. He was between startups, he said, but dressed like he owned the city. He tipped in $100 bills just to see me smile. But within months, I was moving into his penthouse. Within a year, I believed I'd won the love lottery. And then I got pregnant. I told him on a Sunday morning, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows, his head resting on my lap. He went still. Not happy. Not scared, calculating. Are you sure? He asked, sitting up slowly. Daniel, I took 3 tests. He ran a hand through his hair, his thinking gesture. This changes things. I laughed nervously. Yeah, we're going to be parents. He didn't laugh back. 2 weeks later, he had to go out of town for work. Then his calls became texts. Then his texts became silence. I found out the truth on Instagram. There he was, Daniel, tuxedoed, arm around Victoria Sterling. Heiress to the Sterling Hotel's empire. Caption, always found my forever, engaged. The ring on her finger cost more than my entire life savings. I called him shaking. Is this real? He answered on the 3rd ring. Voice cold, clipped. Maya, listen. Victoria's family. They can give me everything I've ever wanted. A name, a legacy, power. And what about our baby? And I whispered, a pause, then, get rid of it. Or disappear. Either way, don't ruin this for me. I hung up. Sat on the floor of my tiny studio apartment. Yes, I'd been quietly moved out while he renovated. One hand on my stomach. The other clutching my phone like it might burst into flames. That night, I made a vow, not with tears but with fire. You want a legacy? I'll make sure your son carries your name. And your shame. I didn't have money. I didn't have connections. But I had time and proof. While Daniel played Prince Charming to Victoria, I dug. I remembered the night he'd bragged about securing the Sterling deal. After too much whiskey. All I had to do was make her fall in love. He'd slurred. Easy when you know what rich girls crave, a self-made man with a tragic past. His tragic past? A fabricated story about losing his parents young. His self-made status? Built on lies and a secret trust fund from an aunt he never mentioned. But the real gold? He'd recorded a private video just for himself, practicing his humble origin speech for the Sterling board. In it, he laughed. They have no idea I got some barista pregnant last month. Hope she handles that quietly. I still had access to his old cloud account. He never changed the password. Arrogance is a weakness. I downloaded it, saved it, waited. 8 months passed. My belly grew. My resolve hardened. Victoria's wedding was the social event of the year, covered by Vogue. Streamed live. Held at the Sterling estate with 500 guests and a $2 million budget. Daniel looked radiant in his tux, like he'd been born for this life. What he didn't know? I was invited. Not by him, by Victoria herself. See, a month earlier, I'd sent her an anonymous message. Ask Daniel about the baby he's hiding. Ask him about the barista he used. Ask him before you say I do. Instead of blocking me, she replied, prove it. So I did. I sent her a photo of my sonogram, a screenshot of his cloud folder, and a 10-second clip of that video. She didn't cancel the wedding. She invited me. Be at the rehearsal dinner, her note said. Wear something elegant and bring the truth. The night of the rehearsal dinner, I walked in wearing a simple black maternity dress, no jewels, no designer label. Just me, my belly, and the truth. Guests followed me like a storm. Victoria stood at the head of the table, pale but composed. Daniel's face, pure terror. You're here, he hissed, stepping toward me. I'm here, I said calmly, for my son, and for her. Victoria stepped between us. Show me everything. I handed her a tablet. She played the video in front of everyone, his family, her parents, the wedding planner, the press liaison. When his voice echoed through the ballroom, hope she handles that quietly. The room fell into a silence so deep, I could hear my own heartbeat. Victoria turned to Daniel, tears in her eyes, but not of sadness, of fury. You used me, she whispered. Just like you used her. I can explain, he stammered. No, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. You don't get to explain. You don't get anything. She ripped the engagement ring off, her finger, and dropped it into a glass of champagne. Then she took my hand. Demaya, she said, voice steady. You and your son will never want for anything again. And he? She pointed at Daniel. He's banned from this family, Forever. 3 months later, I gave birth to Leo Hartwell. Victoria sits on the board of the nonprofit I founded for single mothers. She's his godmother, and she's suing Daniel for emotional distress and fraud, using my evidence. As for Daniel, his self-made reputation is in ruins. His trust fund was frozen by his aunt when she saw the video. Oh, last I heard, he's bartending in Miami, still trying to convince people he was set up. But the best part, every time Leo smiles, those same Hartwell eyes, that same stubborn chin, I don't see him. I see my victory. Because some men think love is a ladder. But real love, it's a legacy. And I'm building mine, one truth at a time.